Tonight, an Anglican priest is being frank about the petty behavior of the island's political leaders.
When we're in public life, there's no privacy. There's no private part of our life. Our life is open to the scrutiny of the entire world.
A Cicero resident celebrates a major milestone on Friday as she celebrates her 100th birthday. And a lone resident near the John Compton Dam is making an appeal to the relevant authorities to curtail the practice of spraying Gramazone near his home, among other issues. These stories and more coming up in tonight's broadcast.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good evening. It is Friday the 24th of May 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM 105.5 and 105.9 radio. You can also watch us on our free mobile app. Just search for Caribbean Hot FM in the Play Store. I'm Rochelle Gonzalez, standing in for lovely Saint Amy Joseph. An Anglican priest is being frank about the behavior of the island's political leaders. Father Christian Glasgow says the island is suffering through a crime crisis following a Wednesday night shootout between police officers and 3 young men. Our leaders, in the meantime, he says, are busy being petty and are sending out the wrong messages to the nation and to the world.
Christian Glasgow is a man of the cloth who does not mince words. He had a few choice words for the political directorate, who he calls on to shape up. He accuses them of setting a terrible example for the youth. He points out contradictions when it comes to what leaders say and how they behave. Public life, he says, is a choice, and when one takes up that role, he or she becomes the model to follow for the country's youth.
Our civil leaders need to look carefully as to how they conduct themselves in public life. And I must make the point, when we're in public life, there's no privacy. There's no private part of our life. Our life is open to the scrutiny of the entire world. And I'm afraid, that when we look at our leaders in public life, there is a lot of contradiction that we see. The question of morality, the question of integrity, the question of honesty, and even the question for authority.
He says if the example that is held up to society is one of chaos, disrespect, and a lack of regard for the rules, then it can come as no surprise that the youth go astray. He says further, the displays of inappropriate conduct, even within the parliament, are broadcast for the world to see as a national embarrassment.
We just have to look at our House of Assembly and the debates and the conduct in which they take place, especially in the lower house, where the speaker sometimes seems to be at his wit's end in trying to bring order to the debate in the house. And our leaders must understand that the world is looking at us. The nation is looking at us. And when they see the highest institution of the nation behaving in such a manner, what can we expect in our society? We need to begin from the highest level to institute a regime of respect for law and order. And this too will filter down into our society and our community.
The Anglican priest is one of many who have lamented the state of affairs and conduct among parliamentarians when debating the business of the people in the House of Assembly. Money and sex scandals within public life have also made for much media fodder, with many calling for greater integrity and morals by politicians and other public figures.
Women's rights advocate Catherine Seelys says in light of Prime Minister Alan Chastain's views on the link between single teenage mothers and crime, he should take this opportunity to review the laws of the land as it relates to abortions. She says women can seemingly never win.
Women's rights advocate Catherine Seeley says the plight of women in St. Lucia is something to be bemoaned. She finds it interesting the amount of local interest in the current abortion law amendments in the United States of America. Seeley, who heads a local NGO, Raise Your Voice St. Lucia, says abortion is only one of many issues that women have little to no say about right here in St. Lucia. She wants the women of the country to stand up for their rights and demand that lawmakers put the freedom to choose in their hands, since lawmakers themselves are now blaming single mothers for crime.
I see people quite outraged by the fact that the U.S. has criminalized abortion. But the only place the laws of St. Lucia speaks about abortion is in the criminal code. It says that the only way somebody can have an abortion is if they were raped, it's a case of incest, or the mother's life is at risk. We don't have any choices if we decide I do not want to carry this child. And then we have the other side of the story where they're saying young people are just making children with different fathers and the children turning out to be criminals. So they might as well look at the laws and say that you can have choices. So at least the young people who get pregnant, sometimes they are raped, they don't speak about it. Sometimes it's incest, they don't speak about it. Sometimes it's abuse, they don't speak about it. They might as well look to change the laws to give people choices. Women don't have any choices in St. Lucia.
Seeley says not changing the law while abortions are still being practiced on the regular makes no sense. Lives, she argues, are being put at risk as a result of unsafe backdoor abortions.
It speaks to the fact that we pander. But we pander in a way that we think people don't notice. So we pander to the Christian faith, we pander to the Pentecostals, we pander to the evangelicals, to the Catholics who say they're against abortion. So we're not going to go into Parliament and say we want to change the law. But we allow everybody to have an abortion, or we allow everybody to perform an abortion at will. These are the reasons why St. Lucia laws are not respected, because you have them on the law books, they're not enforced. People do what they want. And this is why we almost have a lawless country.
The women's advocate says even medical procedures regarding sexual reproductive health are governed by archaic viewpoints.
If you want to tie your tubes, your husband or your boyfriend must say yes, because you might get a husband and the husband might want a child, even if you have 10 children, but the next man you get might want a child. And I don't know where this is documented in law, but this is practiced by the medical profession when a woman says they want to tie their tubes or they no longer want children.
Seeley says with all the controversy about young single mothers and the Prime Minister's chastising of them, it's an opportune time to talk about the legal right to terminate an unwanted pregnancy.
We are slowly being killed, says one lone resident near the John Compton Dam, making an appeal to the relevant authorities to curtail the practice of spraying gramazone near his home. Among other issues, Jesse Arthur pleads for speedy resolve, which he says is affecting the health and wellness of his entire family, inclusive of his 6 children. Solange Alfred tells us more.
A father of 6, Justin Arthur, makes an urgent plea to Wasco to refrain from spraying gramazone near his home, which is in close proximity to the John Compton Dam. He says his land serves not only as a dwelling location, but also where he plants food to provide for his family. Gramazone is a common herbicide, however it can cause fatal poisoning when ingested or inhaled. Arthur says numerous attempts pleading with Wasco to alter their method of grass maintenance has fallen on deaf ears. He says the company is looking to send himself and his children to an early grave if they continue spraying the toxic herbicide in such close proximity to his home.
I live at the dam and it has been 3 years since Wasco workers has been spraying gramazone from the entrance of the road to the dam. And I've been begging them not to spray it in the area around us because I live there with my kids and they have never stopped. I myself know that's a brain kidney failure, that brain it affects you, because after a it wouldn't affect you right now, but after years, yeah. Because I have 6 children, I live there, I see. I'm there with my children, I see them been trying to kill me before time. We do our little farming, we resign there. We live right there. So this is our home.
In addition, Arthur says the issue is being compounded with the desilting effort being carried out by Wasco on the John Compton Dam. He says his family is being inundated by a storm of dust that fills his dwelling with every passing of Wasco's heavy equipment.
From since a year ago, the work that's have been going on, the desilting of the dam, the in and out, the heavy equipments and thing. I live exactly like 7 feet away from the road, and I've been getting that dust from trucks, from any vehicle, anything that come through carries that dust direct inside of my house. Nobody came to me and tell me, well, now work will be going on there. If anything affect me, come to them. Nothing so. Because of the grammar zone, because of the dust. My children can't even cross the road because of the heavy equipments. So I have to try and have everybody inside. We can't go outside. If rainfall, the road self and the kind of sand and thing they carry, the whole road will be mud. Now anytime you see the sunshine, know that it's dust. Now if you're not wetting that 24, we get that dust 24. They have been trying to do little thing, but for me that effort, that's not enough.
Moreover, he says Wasco's continued disregard to his family's presence near the John Compton Dam has already resulted in one fatality.
My house was standing right on the edge of my fatherland, and that pipe they carried over five pipes over the house already, which nothing never happened. But the sick one, the number 6 fell on it. So because of that, I lost my animal. To avoid the dust, for me, the road they're supposed to pave the road to avoid dust for sure. Now, my children cannot use the road. For me, on a construction site, you're supposed to maybe block the road, so they will use that side of the road. They can't go on the other side. You understand that? But by the time I go and do something, my children rushing across the road out of me, trying to raise my head to see whether they're on the road or whatever. So all that has a little fear for me.
The father of 6 is calling on the relevant authorities to end the plight he has undergone for 3 years. He says with his many attempts to contact Wasco officials and Ministry of Health representatives, he continues to come up empty-handed. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
When we come back, a Cicero resident celebrates her 100th birthday. Staff at the Harbor Club Hotel perform good deeds, and NEMO is taking a proactive approach to sensitizing various sectors on disaster management.